I had a vision of an outer-body experience where I levitated through my physical body into a bright golden light. The vision was so vivid, I believe God had to show me how the afterlife looks like, urging me to remind His people that heaven is real, and the lake of fire is also real. The divine nature of heaven comprises of three monumental components, namely: 1. The infernal, 2. The purgatorial, 3. This qualitative realms of existence charges the alogical journey to the afterlife, and without doubt, you and I believe that all things in existence within the universe was created out of sovereignty and pure divine energy by the one true God, whose powers beyond comprehension. We often refer the stages of afterlife as hell, purgatory and heaven by the Christian orthodox churches today, such as the Catholic, Pentecostal and celestial churches. Each sphere is associated with a celestial body such as the Moon, Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, stars, etc. The structure of these spheres shows and reflects the spiritual progression of souls from lesser to great, also in closer proximity to God. My cosmology provides structured framework for understanding the various levels of spiritual attainment and proximity. My conceptualization of creation sympathies physical, metaphysical and spiritual dimensions with the earth as the stationary body of the universe. To be precise with this message, create a vision board in your mind's eye by imagining the earth as a bubble. Now imagine another bubble just above the earth's bubble and another above it. Just like that, that is how the heavens is being stationed. But first, let's talk about the physical aspect of these heavens by starting with the moon. 1. The moon is the first sphere of heaven served for those who are virtuously faithful, but due to circumstances beyond their control, they waver or break their vows during their earthly lives. This is metaphorically reflected in the waxing and waning of the moon. The moon specifically represents powerful spiritual and heightened spiritual moments. That's why the Bible refers the night as a time whereby evil is at peak the most. Spiritual transactions carried out at night can be good or evil. This also means that the children of light are meant to pray more to wrestle evil, fight spiritual warfare and regain power over the territories the enemy may have stolen. 2. The second sphere of heaven is associated with the planet Mercury. Mercury symbolizes ambition tempered with righteousness. This sphere of heaven inhabits souls who are just as good with their earthly lives and possessions, but were motivated by the desire for fame and recognition. The revelation given to me by the Holy Spirit clearly showed me souls that lived ambitious lives, but driven by the desire for recognition in others to live virtuously. 3. The third sphere of heaven is associated with the planet Venus, which symbolizes passion and temperance and represents the air duality of love. Its potential for both virtue and vice and higher power that guides human actions towards desires. In the Roman mythology, Venus is the goddess of love, and with her lies the wand to drive people mad with desire. This heaven contains the souls of those swept off by the detriment of desire to attain either material possessions or spiritual powers. 4. The fourth sphere of heaven is associated with the sun, symbolizing the virtue of prudence. This sphere inhabits the souls of wise individuals and great scholars. According to my vision, I saw the souls that dedicated their lives to the provision of knowledge and wisdom. The divine illuminated this clear vision to me and of a truth. Majority of the world's greatest icons that ensured the right wisdom was given and documented, using their God-given talents and gifts to provide resources that aids the well-being of humanity in some way. Shape or form resides in this aspect of heaven. This sphere of heaven represents divine illumination of enlightenment. 5. The fifth sphere of heaven is associated with Mars, symbolizing strength, fortitude and bravery. Mars is the Roman god of war. Its emblematic spiritual symbol guides those who fought for themselves and others for freedom of mankind. In quote, they're warriors of fate. In reference to this sphere of heaven inhabits the souls of crusaders who played extraordinary courage to face adversity during their earthly lives, even if it costs them their own lives. 6. The sixth sphere of heaven corresponds with Jupiter, and it's associated with justice. In Roman mythology, Jupiter represents the king of the judge, meaning he was the ultimate judge. This sphere inhabits the souls of just rulers and lawgivers who exemplified wisdom and fairness during their earthly lives. This sphere of heaven features dazzling spectacle for those who create glowing messages for those who execute fair justice and ultimately live freely with compassion towards mankind. 7. The seventh sphere corresponds with the planet Saturn, and it's associated with temperance. This is the sphere of the contemplatives and included not only the wise who dedicated their lives to the pursuit of divine wisdom through prayer, meditation and spiritual reflection, but also to those who maintained a manneristic lifestyle. This sphere of heaven inhabits those with spiritual discipline with total submission to the divine as they pursue eternal wisdom on earth. The Bible made reference in John 4:24, which says God is spirit, and those who serve him must worship him in truth and spirit. This sphere of heaven accepts those who are true dedicators and worshippers of the divine. 8. The eighth sphere of heaven is known as the sphere of the fixed stars. This sphere is the sphere of the Church triumphant, and it's closely tied to the three theological virtues: faith, hope, and love. This sphere of heaven inhabits the souls of those who are true followers of the divine that lived their earthly lives based on faith, hope, and love. This is the heaven for those who practice what they preach. Doesn't matter if you're a leader of the church or not. As far as you truly lived your life based on these three virtues, the fixed stars welcomes you with open arms. This is the sphere where many icons that lived, preached, and exhibited true Christianity resides, with the likes of Mother Mary and other significant figures of the Church. 9. The ninth celestial sphere, known as the transcendental imperium set in motion by the direct will of God. This sphere of heaven operates as the divine engine of the cosmos, transmitting motion to all the inner spheres and metaphorically, it signifies all aspect of existence towards ordained purposes. This sphere is so potent that it drives the cycle of life in motion. I was overwhelmed in tears as sensational feeling gushes through my body. This is the powerhouse of the cosmos, the transformer, transmitter, transmuter of universal energy. This imperium governs the zero-point energy. The universe itself was designed from an unseen foundation of a conscious, loving energy known as the zero-point energy. Zero-point energy is a form of energy where everything that progresses is being established. Think about numbers, for example, numerically before we count one. There's a zero. Somewhere, within time and space, lies a primitive, ominous knowledge. Full of creativity and understanding of source energy, created the Galactic Federation and star civilization races, of which I believe the theological process of Adam came to life. Several conspiracy theories exude that aliens or angels and high vibrational beings exists within us. They study us, they learn from us, they see us, but we don't see them. The reason is because we're designed to live within the thread of energies. Therefore, energies cannot be seen but felt. There's a difference between the natural eye and the supernatural eye, although God made them all. The aether fluid that surrounds us is a source of tremendous energy that is in constant vibrational motion flowing through all objects in the universe. In the humane body, the cerebrospinal fluid, also known as the fluid of nature, contains molecules that travels to the central canal of the spine and travels back to the brain to flow as above, so below. Thus, a well-trained individual who've mastered the art of transmutation and or must have integrated the conscious and unconscious minds, together can create streamlines of motion, capable of moving much more quickly and exhibiting higher intellectual abilities, contributing positive values by remaining balanced in love, as it's said to be highest level of vibrational frequency in motion. One ought to move in love. Movement represents the feet. Abide in love represents the mind. Create with love representing the hands, and radiate love genuinely towards others representing the heart. The heart is just an extension of earth, meaning we all hold the earth within us. And collectively, when we utilize this earth towards growth, we all raise the vibration of earth faster. And when we raise the vibration of earth, we eradicate sickness. obliterate evil, and eliminate wickedness permanently. The term love is just an energy manifested as an emotion. The term emotion is just a short term for an energy in motion. However, the unification and moderation of this love energy is the fundamental nature for source energy. The Bible made it clear that all representatives of light are the children of light, and it's a mandate to walk in light energy while existing in this physical body. However, many individuals made it mundane to do so. The universe changes the moment we choose to reunite in oneness. Hence, the atonement of division is unity, and when we collectively unify, we activate then power of singularity, where we become simultaneous with light, time and space, as one's heart becomes deeply rooted with everything in nature. The primary meaning of this represents the fact that we're created out of the dark. The Bible says that God separated the dark from the light. Out of darkness, God made light. I believe when men seek to be God, they forget that God is simply found within a man. What we seek on the outside outward cannot be found outside, rather can be found on the inside, the inward state of being. Whereas these two elements, spirit and matter, are separated, the outer experience becomes more chaotic and more conditioned to societal standards and animalistic desires, lacking empathy and making unconscious decisions based on stressful thought process and predictive measures, ATP meaning the exoteric thinking process. Whereas when harmonized, one becomes intuitive and unconditioned to what was, in other to find what is. Which definitely sounds like freedom to me. While being subjected to think and make decisions based on pressure, predicting if it'll work or not, one becomes free in submission to the higher mind's intuitive guidance. Instead of thinking, one's conditioned to the inner knowing more, EK meaning the eteric knowing process. The finite formulae of source creation explains that all is sacred and nothing is wasted, depicting the masculine-feminine, conscious-subconscious energies of oneself. Self-discipline is to die to self and to be fortified and purified sacredly, so that one could resurrected from the ashes to be reborn in its own God form. A healthy and balanced human body never lacks integrity. I had to document this experience to tell the world that God's existence is real, true and pure. There is no reason to doubt that God exists, and I want as many people this reaches to believe in the working powers of God, with no limit, doubt or whatsoever. God literally wants me to tell his people that he is the cosmos, the universal engine of life, the regenerator of destinies and the giver of opportunities. He said I should tell his people that whatsoever they ask of him in non-weaver faith will receive that which their hearts desires. I'd be striking out a complete series body of work that contains a vital information on how we can connect back to our higher selves. I titled this The Journey to Self. Stay blessed, stay tuned, because this is something that you've never seen before. If you like this video, kindly like and subscribe for more contents. This is Spiritual Rebirth and Human Anatomy with Bazzy Francis, sending you love light.